Hey everyone, I'm John Rogers.
And I'm Ethan Bond.
And welcome to the Roar Podcast.
I didn't know we were saying podcast together.
That's fine. We don't have to.
Leave it in. We don't need to.
Who am I? This is not just a philosophical question. I will be answering this.
This is a philosophy podcast. What do you mean?
Who am I? What am I doing here? So, as I said before, I'm John Rogers. I am a senior organizational communications major. Even though I'm only 19, I am from Monroe, Louisiana, and I have worked several jobs. One of which that I still hold being the Macedonia Baptist Church youth worship leader and associate worship leader. But I've also been a water slide technician, which is not nearly as glamorous as it sounds. I've also been a Chick-fil-A fry cook. Some of my hobbies include music, anime, video games, cooking, and playing D&D, as well as just sleep, because you can't undervalue the beauty that is proper sleep.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's rich that I'm saying that, considering that you're the one who's got the issue. But
Oh, yeah, no, I have, like, a sleep disorder, so when I get the rare, like, even just, like, 6.5 hours of sleep, I wake up in the morning, I'm just like, I feel incredible.
I feel godly. I play every single instrument in a stereotypical worship band. That includes acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass guitar, drums, keyboard, and I sing. That's just the flex fact. If I really wanted to go into all of it, there's also tuba, baritone, trombone, trumpet, kalimba, melodica, mandolin, and I want to learn how to play bagpipes and an accordion.
My name's Ethan Bond. I am 22 as of today.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I am in the first of my 3 senior semesters because I'm taking extra time to graduate. I'm from Dallas, Texas, born and raised in the city there. I'm a speech comm major, actually. I'm minoring in mass communication so I can learn to do the whole media side of things and not just, know 18 million theories and not how to apply them. Jobs-wise, I've had a lot. I've been working in the restaurant business for a long time with everything from doing everything from dishwasher to shift manager. Now I work for a tax resolution office, which is not something I thought I'd be saying while I was in college. And then I'm also working for sports media for ETBU. And so currently I do PA announcement for the basketball games. So when you hear the dude screaming the ETBU starting 5, that's me. That's also why you might hear my voice be destroyed half the time when we record this podcast. And then I'm going to be moving to stream broadcast to do baseball when the season starts. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've also had experience working at a summer camp, and that's been some of my favorite times of my life. Just the sense of community that I got at that camp, hanging out with the kids. Even the kids changed me in like ways and I have stories from kids that I will never ever ever forget. Some of my hobbies, I play a lot of video games, honestly. I love sports in general. So our Comms on Campus question this week is, what have you been watching on TV?
I have been religiously watching Yellowstone like no other.
Really, Yellowstone?
Yeah, no, I love Cowboys with my whole entire heart, and Yellowstone is just one of the best shows there is.
All right, thanks so much.
The TV show I'm watching right now is Baki Superstore.
Superstore, really? Okay, that's one of my favorite shows. It's so good.
Yeah, man, it's like a whole parody on working at Walmart, and since I work on Walmart, I actually relate too much.
Tennis.
Tennis, really?
Yeah.
No shows specifically?
Not really.
I just finished watching The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
Nothing, actually.
Nothing, really? You don't watch TV?
No, sir. I only play video games and play baseball.
It's called The Shack. There's a show called The Shack, and it's actually a book that was turned into a movie.
Up next is Street Speak.
All right. So, Professor Streety, great to have you here on the podcast. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Very excited to be here, gentlemen.
We just have a couple of questions for you just to kind of let the students get to know you a bit. So before we get to like kind of the major question of why do you want to do a podcast? So
Awesome.
First off, what do you teach here at ETBU?
Well, teach is a loose term. I lead classes in most of the media arts, so to speak. So I teach all comm students Intro to Mass Media, which is an introductory class for all students. And then I teach graphic design, video production, audio production, and a few rotating classes. Like this semester I'm teaching broadcasting. Next semester I'll teach animation. And basically I'm the class that you get to make stuff. Like podcast.
So we know that you're like fairly new to ETBU, but in the past you've worked with like a ton of major brands. So what was your favorite brand to work with?
Starbucks, which is a very awesome brand.
All right, we got a couple more fun questions for you. So your office is like pretty legendary around campus. A lot of people love the stuff in your office. So what's your favorite thing in there?
Legendary. Wow. It's only been up for a couple of months. My favorite thing is I actually am a bit of a prop nerd, and I have a prop replica of a Clone Trooper helmet from episode 3. And I custom painted it to look like a flying tiger from World War II. Wow. So it kind of looks like Commander Gree for all the nerds out there, but it's also got the tiger teeth and the tiger eyes from the flying tiger. And that might be my favorite thing. So don't steal it. Nobody steal it from my office.
All right, so this one's a little bit more serious, but who would you say is your greatest inspiration?
Oh, wow. Well, my wife, first of all. She's an amazing person, and I look at her and want to be a better person, so I think that that's important. Creatively, I would say there's been lots of movie makers and lots of graphic designers I've aspired to be. Right now, my passion is storytelling, so I look at people like Wes Anderson and the movie he makes, and I think, man, I'd love to do that type of thing. Edgar Wright is another one that I think would be amazing to emulate.
All right, back to some slightly funnier stuff. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, come on, guys. We can do better than that.
Oh, really?
Everybody goes invisibility or flight, but then they say invisibility is more effective, but come on. Literally, if you could push off the ground and not touch down, seriously, do it all day. I'd just be flying everywhere. Like I'd be like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Let me fly to the bathroom. That's just how it would be. So,
imagine the money you'd save on gas.
Yes, flight would be a good one. And I'd even take flight with a jetpack. If we wanted to go Rocketeer, I could go totally Rocketeer. But flight's an awesome one. There's also this premise of like the being able to read minds and manipulate minds. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm devious or anything, but there is something kind of tempting about that, you know? Little Professor X for you.
All right, one last question before we get to the big one. We talked a lot about Star Wars. Who shot first, Han or Greedo?
Oh, it's definitely Han. I mean, come on. It's obvious.
All right, so kind of the big question. I won't say the elephant in the room because I don't know an elephant would fit in our little studio. But maybe the golden retriever in the room, that would take up a lot of space. Why did you want to do a podcast?
Well, thank you for asking, and thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast since I invited myself. But no, it's a passion of mine for this comm department, and what I keep saying, what I want to put on the front of the brochure, what I ask all new students or tell all new students is, I want to give you a voice. Communication is simply that, communicating to people. And my ultimate goal for this podcast, for the department, for the school, is to give comm students a voice. So what I'm going to hold these two guys accountable to is giving the comm department a voice, whether it's themselves sharing stories, but also to reach out into the comm department and say, I don't care if you're speech comm or sports comm or org comm, there's an opportunity to share your thoughts, your beliefs, your perspectives, because the way we get better and stronger as a community and as a comm department is when we come together. And what you learn in Intro to Mass Media with me on the first day of classes is mass media unites the masses. So I want to unite the masses through every medium that we can. And if that means Instagram, yes. If that means Twitch, yes. If that means YouTube, yes. And if that means a podcast, yes. We are going to give the students a voice, and we're going to let them be heard for anybody who wants to hear. Now, if I could only learn how to speak English, this would be more successful. So that's the reason, and I'm so glad you guys are doing this, and I'm excited to see what happens next. For the record, I've given them guidelines, but this is a student-driven podcast, and they're going to find the stories that they feel like most impacts the students of ETBU.
Well, thank you so much for being on. We really, really appreciate you giving up your time.
This is the legal read. I deny anything I said on this podcast, and I was edited out of context if I say something I don't agree with at the end of this. But I'm excited about this, and if you want to come hang out in my office, even if you're not in the comm department, feel free. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
All right, so how do you think that interview went?
Honestly, I thought it went pretty great. Learned a lot about Professor Streety that I didn't know, at least.
Yeah, me too. The trooper helmet being his favorite was a nice touch. His son not wanting the wooden statue was
that
just rough.
Confused me, bro. Like, I'm not even that big of a Star Wars fan. I would love to have a 6-foot-tall battle droid.
Seriously, like, who wouldn't? It's an awesome set piece.
Oh, yeah,
for a
that's
room.
so sick.
I mean, even if he was living in the dorms, like, okay.
I don't know if I could fit it in my dorm room, but...
You put it in the living room.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
And how about some of those shows that people were watching, like the one with a bunch of satire?
Oh yeah, so I actually finished the woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window and over the rainbow and with the dog on the leash or whatever the exceedingly long title is. I actually finished it. Really good. I didn't know it was satire for a while, so at first I was like, man, this show is just like really bad. And then someone told me that it was satire. I'm like, oh, this makes sense now. Okay, I like it. Also, another great show that was mentioned was Superstore. You ever watched it?
Superstore? No, I've never
It's
watched
like
Superstore.
it's like a parody of like what it's like to work at like a big box store like Walmart or something, which is hilarious. Because especially as I was talking to Key about it, he said like it's like a parody of working at Walmart, and he works at Walmart, so it's even funnier to him.
That's great. I'm guessing then it's kind of like a corollary to The Office, but only for big box stores.
Kind of, but a little more like goofy Parks and Rec-ish humor rather than like the dry Office humor. You get what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that concludes for our little roundup. We need to come up with a name for this segment real quick.
End of episode review. I don't know. I mean, we don't have to have a name for it. We can just start talking.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it'll seem like it flows, even though we're definitely cutting this in way in post. Follow us on YouTube at The Roar, on Instagram at TheRoar_ETBUcom, on Facebook at The Roar ETBUcom, and on Twitter at ETBUcom Studies. Executive produced by Dan Streety, produced by Ethan Bond and John Rogers, edited by John Rogers. Next time on The Roar podcast, we're going to be sitting down with a bunch of other communications students, talking about what it's like to be a communications student, and just sharing some of the favorite memories of being in the department. Thanks so much. See you next week.